Hey everyone, it's been a bit, though it feels like it's been an eternity. I think it's been 2 months since my last video, but it feels like it's been 2 years. A lot's been going on, or more like a lot of nothing's been going on. A couple weeks back, smashed my hand really bad and got a bad hand injury, and I wasn't able to do anything for like weeks, which makes time go by very slow. So for this drawing, I had originally done it in my sketchbook before I hurt my hand, which is why you don't see any sketch layer, because I just took a picture of it and I'm tracing my sketchbook drawing. But I started working on it digitally, and then I ended up smashing my hand, so it sat for months. Well, maybe not months. It feels like it's been months. It was like 3 or 4 weeks before I started working on it again, but I had a lot of fun doing this drawing. It's a little hard to tell what it is right now, other than it's kind of clear it's a library, but it's a library in space. I have a character, Europa, that's going to pop up on the left eventually. You've seen her before in speed draw videos and in sketchbook tours, but this is her as a kid, which you might have seen that in my last sketchbook tour video, her kid design. But yeah, this is just her hitchhiking across space, and this is just one of the stops that she stops at. This is actually on a spaceship. They just have a very fancy library on their spaceship. So now, with the drawing explanation out of the way, I'll tell you guys what's been up. A lot's changed, a lot's different, but it starts with when I smashed my hand. Basically what was happening was working on my house. Me and my brothers and my dad were building this rock terrace wall to shade my porch from the summer sun, and we were moving these really big boulders. So me and two of my brothers were trying to move this boulder together, and well, we got it moving and ended up smashing my finger between it and another rock. It was my ring finger on my right hand, which is the finger that I draw with. It's the one that holds my pencil and controls it. So that was a very big bummer, but I got up after I'd smashed it, and I was pacing around, and I'd fisted my right hand up, and I was holding my right hand with my left hand. It was bleeding a lot, so I was just kind of like holding it really tight. And I told myself, I'll be fine so long as I didn't hit my nail, because I knew I hit it hard enough that I would lose a nail. And so I peeked at it. I picked my left hand a little bit up, and I looked at my nail, and my nail was fine. So I was like, yes, I'll be fine. I absolutely refuse to look at injuries that are really bad, because I swear it won't be that painful until you look at it, and then you'll be dying. So I didn't look at it. My dad came over and he looked at it, and my brothers looked at it. My mom left to go get the first aid box. My dad's like, it's a pretty bad smash. I don't know, maybe you'll need to get stitches. And my dad was running the backhoe, so he went to go park it, and I was walking around, and then all of a sudden I got really nauseous and kind of weak. So I sat down, and I was like, maybe this is a lot worse than I think it is. And my dad came back over, and he took a close look at it. He started moving it around to see if the bone was broken, and when he opened my hand up, he saw the inside of my finger, which was the worst part of it. He'd only seen the top side, like the knuckle side, and it had exploded. It had split open in multiple different spots, going all sorts of crazy directions, and it was very deep. And he's like, you know what? We are going to need to go to the quick care and get some stitches. It's pretty bad. So me and my dad and my mom jumped in the car, and we went to quick care. We ended up sitting in quick care for a good bit, and that sucks, but it's whatever. So we got in there, and the nurses cleaned it off. I had the blood had dried all over my hand, that all my fingers were stuck together, and so they were struggling to just get my fingers apart. Only one finger was injured, but they were breaking off chunks of blood the size of quarters. It was kind of crazy. So after they got it mostly clean, the doctor came in to look at it, and he gave me painkillers first, the kind that like you shoot in with the needles, which my brother had actually chopped off a finger when we were really young, and he told me the story, and I was thinking about it the whole drive to the hospital or to the quick care, because when he had chopped off his finger and they gave him painkillers, they put the needle like into the injury, which just, that hurts my soul to such a deep level. And I was like, I hope they don't do that. They didn't. They put it up by my knuckles. I don't know if it was like a different type of injury or if they just do it different now or if it was the doctor we had. But the whole drive there, I was dreading the idea of someone poking a needle into the hurt part of my finger. So that was a relief that they put it up by my knuckles. But once they put the painkillers in, it started working immediately. Like within like a second, I was like, oh, I feel a lot better. So once I had the painkillers, I was like, maybe I'll look at it now, because everyone was telling me that it looked really bad, but I like was not looking at it. Now with the painkillers in, I was like, maybe it'll be maybe it'll be okay. And the doctor was pulling up all the flaps of skin on my hand because he wanted a better look at the tendon in my finger. And I looked down, and he's talking to me and my mom, because my mom's there, and he's like, I'm going to need you to go to a specialist because I'm worried about your tendon. And he's pointing at it with his sharp metal tools in my hand. I died. It was not something I needed to see. I hadn't looked at my injury at all, and seeing that he had like all this tools on, and even though it didn't hurt, I couldn't feel anything. I wanted to like yank my hand away from him and not let him touch it because it hurt my soul. So yeah, they sent us to the hospital to have a professional or a specialist look at it, is probably the better word, because they wanted to make sure the tendon would heal up okay. So we drove to the hospital. It didn't take too long for us to like get in a room, but I feel like we sat in that room forever. We had a nurse come in every once in a while, and then eventually, the nurse came in and she cleaned my hand off better because it was still pretty disgusting. Eventually, the doctor came in, and he looked at it and deemed it safe to just stitch up. Oh, we also had x-rays, and I didn't have any broken bones. And he stitched me up. I think they put more painkiller in it before he stitched me up, which I appreciate. And he did it really fast, and I really wanted to watch because I thought that'd be interesting, but I could not get myself to watch. Every single time he went to go poke the needle into my hand, I had to look away because otherwise I would have just taken my hand away from him. So I couldn't watch him stitch my hand up. I got 17 stitches. It's honestly kind of confusing because I don't know different types of stitches that well, but they were like run-on stitches. So from my understanding, the usual stitch is just one piece of string, goes in and out and ties a knot. But I had some that would go in and out, in and out, and in and out, and then tie a knot. I don't know if it was 3 times or just 2 times, which made it kind of hard to count. It was confusing. But anyways, he gave me my stitches. He was really fast. He was nice, but he didn't stay too long. I think he was busy. And after I got all stitched up, they had put a tourniquet on my finger, so they took that off. Took it a minute to stop bleeding, but once it stopped bleeding, they let me out. I'm glad we got to the hospital when we did, because when we were leaving, the waiting room was completely packed. And when we got there, it was just us and one other person. And everyone in the waiting room looked so miserable. I felt so bad for them. Because luckily when I was there, I'd already been to quick care and had painkillers, so at least I was decently comfortable when I was waiting. So we went home, and my parents helped me pack up some stuff, and they took me to my sister's house to stay because I was just a complete crippled at that point and I couldn't do anything. My sister had just bought in her own property and moved into it just a couple days before this had happened, and I had been working on fixing up. They have a kind of garage next to the house that we've been calling the shack house. And before this had all happened, I was planning on moving in there because it was my sister's new house was really close to my work. And I ended up just having to move in earlier than planned. I was wanting to finish my house out at Leeds before moving, just so I didn't leave it partially finished. Now my little hobbit hole's gonna have to wait. At least I'll have something to title my new sketchbook after. Thank you all for stopping to watch this speed drawing. Well, I guess I should announce I am working on an animation. It's a bigger one, but it's supposed to be about this character in this drawing here. So be prepared for that, and I'll see you guys another time. Have a good night, day, or whatever it is. Bye!